This is the Glide Gear OH50, which I've been using for a while, and I'm just going to quickly go through how you set it up and show you why I think this is not a good solution and I actually regret purchasing this. So you can take this piece and connect it to the glider section of the glide gear. But that takes a 1/4 inch 20 screw. Screw it on. So, by the way, this piece is from my tripod. So I assume you will have something equivalent on your tripod, or your tripod directly provides a screw which is a 1/4 inch 20. So you'll screw this on. And then you attach it to your tripod in whatever direction you want, and then you lock it off. But just so that I can keep everything in frame, I'm going to show you how to do this thing on a mini tripod so I can keep everything in frame. So you have a 1/4 inch 20 screw there on the glider, and this is the one that you would connect to your tripod. I don't think in a real scenario you would connect this to a mini tripod, but I find it easier to fit everything in the frame with this tripod, so that's why I'm doing this. Okay, and this is the ball head. It's quite a cheap ball head, and it doesn't have a spirit level. It also doesn't have a quick release, but nevertheless, let's screw it on here. I don't think this is going to screw on anymore, so I'm just going to tighten it. In fact, I have to screw this on as well. So this is the extension. If you wanted to extend, then you could do that. I tighten this as well, which means this won't move. It looks like this can still spin, which is a bit weird. Okay, so I've tightened that as well. So nothing moves in theory. And this is the phone clamp. It's really cheap and really small. My phone doesn't fit in here, but if you have a small phone, then go for it. And you can connect it this way or this way, depending on how you want to have your phone. So this is pretty much the whole setup of the Glide Gear OH50. Now one thing you can do is, after you've put something here, depending on how heavy it is, you need to obviously move your glider further down to get the overhead shot. So what you have here is, you have two washers here, which you open up. Take one of the washers out, and then you put a weight in between here. So the weight doesn't come with the package, so you need to buy that separately. And then you screw this back on. I'm actually struggling to screw this thing on. Okay. So that's essentially the glide gear OH50 and how you set it up. I definitely don't recommend purchasing this for a number of reasons. First of all, it doesn't come with a counterweight balance here, so you need to purchase that separately. And the second reason is that this phone clamp, you need to buy a new phone clamp. This phone clamp is really not usable, in my opinion. It's the cheapest phone clamp that you can get, and it doesn't fit in a big phone neither. And the ball head as well doesn't have a spirit level, so you need to buy a ball head which has one. But that's not actually that important. What's more important is the fact that you don't have a quick release for this. So if you do screw on a camera here, it means that the camera will have to stay, or every time you want to take your camera off, you need to unscrew it. So you need a different ball head. And the other thing I really don't like about this is that this part, the narrow part of the extension, is actually really greasy. So every time you touch it and then you touch the touch screen of your camera or your phone, everything gets greasy. It might seem like a minor thing, but it becomes annoying. And in addition to that, you do need a sturdy tripod. So the tripod I have is really weak and it can't handle this. So I need to buy a tripod as well. So overall, I don't think this was worth the investment. I think it would have been better to buy a C stand and then just connect everything to there, and then you have that set up. Whereas with the tripod, you need to set up the tripod every time, connect this to the tripod, and then take everything down, and then your tripod is being used as an arm instead of having it free for another camera angle. So overall, I wouldn't recommend buying this. I would say it's more worth it to invest in something probably more expensive, but something that's suited for this. So I know that Glide Gear does this overhead rig which sits on your desk. That might be a better investment, assuming your desk is stable, because if your desk shakes, then that's not really an option either. But I think the best approach is to buy a C stand with a boom arm and then connect whatever you want with the super clamps to it.